Good day, welcome to ESM3045 Engineering Management. This is Christine Grace M. Rodrigo presenting for today's case analysis for the final summative assessment. For today's case study, it is entitled Like a Sun. To give you an overview of the case, here are the details. Simon Construction Company is divided into two divisions: the roofing division, led by Simon, and the modular manufacturing section, led by John, whom Simon practically adopted. John and his secretary handle all bids, material procurement, inventory management, shipping, project management, billing, bid revisions, and payment collections. After some time, when Simon got into an argument with John, he discovered that John engaged in illegal activities, including manipulated low bids, kickbacks, exaggerated material pricing, phony firms, and theft, causing a loss of 60 million pesos over 9 years. For the statement of the problem, the issue is that Simon lacks monitoring and control over John's operations, which leads to fraud that caused Simon Construction Company a lot of money. To further explain the problem, presenting here is the Ishikawa diagram. The main problem here is that the losses of 60 million pesos for Simon Construction over a 9-year period. So these are the causes: loose monitoring system, insufficient training, abuse of power, and failure to take immediate actions. So the lack of proper record-keeping practices and no internal controls, auditing procedures to detect and prevent fraudulent activities, as well as lack of monitoring inventory and shipping activities, lead to the inefficient system. Next is the abuse of power. Simon did not have enough power to oversee the operation, which John had a complete control over. There is also a lack of constant communication between the two, as Simon trusted John too much in running the company and became complacent with John's activities. Meanwhile, John took advantage of Simon's kindness and his privilege as the son. Next is the insufficient training. The ineffective training and supervision of employees in the manufacturing division led to a faulty operational system, as well as the insufficient delegation of tasks and duties in the manufacturing division. Lastly is the failure to take immediate actions. The lack of accountability and consequences for unethical behavior. Any employees, as well as John himself, who got involved in the situation. There's also inefficient security measures which could have responded to the red flags and warning signs of the fraudulent activities. And lastly, there were no investigations being conducted right after the discovery of John's illegal acts, to which all these created a huge problem for the company. So what are the possible courses of actions for the situation? One is to reprimand Simon for his failure to exercise adequate control and oversight over John's operations. So the advantages is that it holds Simon accountable for his neglect of management responsibilities. And its disadvantages is that it may need to address the root cause of the problem, which could result in a demotivated Simon and poor morale among employees. Second option is that to terminate John's employment and pursue legal action against him and his accomplice. One advantage is to remove the source of fraudulent activities and hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. 2. The disadvantage is that it may not recover the loss of 60 million pesos and could result in litigation expenses and reputational damage to Simon Construction Company. Third, the list of options is to implement a system of checks and balances and improve internal control procedures. Its advantage is to prevent future fraudulent activities and can promote greater transparency and accountability. On the other hand, it may be costly to implement and could result in increased bureaucracy and reduced efficiency. And lastly, for the list of options is to replace John with a qualified manager and provide the proper training and oversight. Advantage of this is to bring fresh leadership and ideas and can ensure that the company is being managed by a qualified individual to reduce the risk of illegal activities. On the other hand, finding a qualified replacement may be challenging as there may be resistance from employees who are loyal to John, which may be disruptive to operations. So among this list of options, What I can recommend is the option 2 and 3, to which it is recommended to end John's employment and to implement a formal system of control and oversight. So a mixture of these options can lead the company to greater heights. As to explain this better, the best way to solve the problem is to hold John and his accomplice accountable for their conduct and prevent more fraud. Simon Construction Company should fire him and take legal action against them. The business should also implement a system of checks and balances and enhance internal control procedures to stop fraud in the future and encourage more responsibility and transparency. The potential savings and averting future losses due to fraudulent or illegal activities will make the expense of such controls in place justifiable. So that is all for this case analysis. I hope you learned a lot and enjoyed my presentation. Thank you and have a good day.